neat, eh?
So how much damage does an H-bomb do?
Fucking lot. Like, I think the first, like the bomb that hit on Hiroshima, remember in
Yeah, well,
World War
those were traditional atomic bombs.
Yeah, so those were like 10 kiloton bombs. They have since, I think Russia once detonated, they had the biggest one ever, a 50 megaton. So
Oh,
kiloton, 1,000 kilotons, 1 megaton, 50 megatons. Like, you're talking like hundreds of times more powerful than than the Hiroshima or Nagasaki bomb. It's insane. Like, the bombs they have now, like, you drop on a city, you're killing millions of people.
well, that's what they did last time. This, you drop on a country, it would blow the country up pretty
Well, not the
much.
country. They still have radiuses of like 50 kilometers, but it's just the destruction would be much more so.
Oh, good. I'm glad that we're innovating.
It's pretty. Man, I should have saved that for the intro. That would have been a good intro.
It would be.
I had two other things related to that. Like, it's so funny the concept of mutual assured destruction, which is where the Cold War ultimately brought everyone to, where they're like, okay, so we've reached a point where if someone maybe we shouldn't. Like, it's a no fucking win situation. Like, it's so stupid. And anyways, it's ridiculous. And that's something that made me think of something else. That's called a progress trap.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we talked about that before.
It's neat. Okay.
It's like when you build, you're too good at civilization.
All right, I got my nerd stuff out of the way. Let's get to it.
Now we are good to go. Are you ready for the countdowns, my friend?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to the Good, Bad, or Bullshit podcast. I am Crofton Steers, the Stone Cold Steve Austin of this podcast. With me are my two co-podcast buddies, co-podcaster number one, and the rock of this podcast. I'm talking about Michael Hodgins. Michael, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Can you smell the dish that I am cooking?
Wow, you made that lane fast. And also, the third podcast wrestling personality we have is the Triple H of this podcast. I'm talking about Bo Schwartz.
Wow, hello there, good, bad, or bullshit listener.
I should have made him the Macho Man. I don't know what I was thinking.
Well, it's funny because you made a point of like playing your hand on being a wrestling nerd by referencing wrestlers who are like somewhat current.
Well, no, the Attitude Era wrestler.
Whatever.
Enough
The point is,
talking more.
most people you just have to say like Hulk Hogan or like Macho Man, and that's about all they know.
I think a lot of people know The Rock.
Yeah, but that's only because he transitioned to like Hollywood B-movie stardom.
Is that what you think, Mike? It doesn't matter what you think. That's The Rock.
He's being a wrestler.
So, guys, it's a new year, new GBB. And by new, I mean exactly the same as last year, maybe slightly better. Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions this year?
No, not at all. How about you? You must have some since you asked.
No, I don't. Mike?
Mike?
No.
I think we all hate resolutions here on the panel.
I guarantee, you see, that's a topic I wouldn't even want the random topic generator to give us, just because, like, New Year's resolutions, because I feel like I know both of you, I know myself, I feel like it would be a pretty short conversation about how stupid they are. But as I mentioned last year, I started going to the gym about halfway through last year, and so of course I went down to the gym, which is a small gym in my building. I think on like January 5th or something, and it was ridiculous. Like, I mean, I just turned around and went back upstairs, and I'm like, well, I quit the gym for now. Because there's so many people that are just like, oh, it's a new year, new me.
Yeah, no, it's the same old me. I've been down this road too many times. I understand what happens when you try to go down the new road. It's just the same road. things
It's
do change,
artificial.
but they don't change on the first. And I don't know, any resolution I've ever made, I never stuck with. This is
Well,
kind of
it's just
depressing.
like I think that if you want to be successful at something, you need to be, you need to build up to it and be in the right place to make an official decision. Whereas
Yeah.
New Year's is arbitrary to be like, oh, it's a new year. Now it's time I kick this habit. But it's like if you're not ready to kick that habit or to start a new habit, if it doesn't come to you naturally, you're just forcing it. It doesn't make any sense.
It's totally true. It's an arbitrary thing because you look at the date on the calendar and then you think, what are things about myself that I know are bad and that I should change? Like, for example, I drink a lot of pop, for instance, and I'd be like, oh, I know that's bad about myself. So because it's the first, I'm going to cut down on my pop. But
Good for you,
that
Crofton. I support your resolution.
screw you, Hodges. But what happens is I don't really want to do that. I just am like doing a self examination, and that's the thing. I'm lucky because my birthday is December 31st, and people do self examinations. Based on the calendar twice in the year, once on their birthday and once on New Year's. Like you sort of take stock of where you are in your life or what's going on or things that you do and endeavor to do better or whatever. For me, it's back to back, 31st and the first. So if I get through that without changing, I can hold out for the rest of the
So
year.
you basically just do half the amount of self-reflection that a normal human being can.
Pretty much, yes.
Although I will
That makes me
say,
twice as good.
I guess I sort of have a New Year's resolution. I'm kind of looking for a job right now, so that's.
That was before New Year's, though.
I mean, I've been looking for a job for like I don't know 6 months. It's not going good. But now since it's New Year's, let's make a resolution to make that happen. I almost had one. I worked for a day and then I rage quit. So
I like how it's rage quitting.
That's geek talk, like video game. That's how when you
Oh.
rage quit a video game, it's because you're like,
you don't press
Well-
escape and then quit the desktop. You just unplug the whole computer because you're mad.
Throw it out the window.
That's rage
Well, I was
quitting.
thought like as opposed to say logic quitting, where you go into work, you're like, I've weighed the pros and benefits of the situation and balancing all things is even. I make a decision to leave this position. That'd be like
so
logic.
there are tons of people that do that.
Yeah, that's how I
Logic.
think I'd quit.
Yeah.
Well, that's all.
Um,
I left my job, and it was sort of like that.
Yeah, logic quitting.
I logic quit.
Speaking of logic, I don't know if this segue works in any way, shape, or form, but can we pull out the random topic generator for the first time this year and draw the first official topic of 2015 for review?
Let's do it. I've resolved to use the same old random topic generator we've always used.
All right, I've resolved to allow some time for the sound to come in as you pull the ignition or whatever.
And I resolved my traditional witty remark during the random topic generator sound.
It's always good to start the new year with an important topic that affects us all, which is entertainment news.
Oh, yay! Entertainment news.
I feel like I'm out of touch with entertainment news in the sense that, like, some examples given here are like E-Talk or Access Hollywood. When I think of entertainment, I think of Entertainment Tonight.
Ba-ba-dum-bum-bum.
My mom used to watch that all the time in like the 80s, before John Tesh moved to radio stardom and was a host of that show. I used to watch it all the time, and I remember thinking like, oh, it was entertaining. But I haven't really watched any Hollywood entertainment
How
shows.
can you leave
since
out Mary Hart? You're like, you remember John Tesh? And you
Mary Hart
don't-
is I think she might even still be on it, for God's sake.
No, I think she's retired.
I think maybe they wrapped that show up.
I think they stuck her in a closet and they occasionally bring her out and dust her off to interview someone really old.
I don't know. At one point, I was like watching a fair amount of TV before. This is before PVRs really took off, and they would often those shows would play around the 5:30 time frame, and so I would catch them on often. There's Access Hollywood. There's Extra.
Does TMZ count? I think it would, eh?
Yeah, for sure it does.
It's like
But
smut Hollywood
I
stuff.
think that led to sort of a transition in at least the way the television aspect of that worked. but now it's like the internet is crazy for it because like I'm not sure if you guys ever install Internet or open Internet Explorer without changing the homepage or whatever. It's always a bunch of like entertainment news. The first page that opens up is like MSN.ca or something, or you open up any sort of homepage for a lot of these like AOL used to have it. You'd open it up. The main page would always be like a bunch of entertainment news.
Oh,
So,
Yahoo. If you go to yahoo.com, you'll get like a little part of that page that has headlines from the
I thought
entertainment
that
world.
Yahoo finally decided to look like Google because of their, full failing.
Maybe I'm thinking of
yeah,
like circa
possibly.
1990s Yahoo.
Yeah, they definitely used to be. Lately, they have just a blank page.
No,
But
I went to yahoo.com just now, and the first thing is photos show emotional Full House reunion.
sounds
That
Well,
like
there you go. See, but I think that's possibly why the television shows. I'm not saying the television shows don't get ratings. I'm sure they're still on. But the fact that we're so out of the loop on them, like I'm not out of the loop necessarily on entertainment stuff. It comes up in other ways, but I'm not sitting down and making time to watch these news shows. You know.
Yeah, I guess the way we consume is different. It's everywhere. Like it's in clickbait in your Facebook feed and on your Twitter feed.
yeah,
And
but you choose to click on that or not.
no, I know, but the presence of the news is hard to escape your attention. I suppose. Like you'd have to really be not, you don't watch TV, you don't read newspapers, you don't have social media. Like that stuff creeps in pretty much everywhere, like really bad. And I feel like I know a lot, and yet I make no actual effort to watch any of it. But are we counting? Are we saying like entertainment news? Is this like television programs, or is it all forms of
Well,
like?
I don't know. It was the topic had examples of like these
What's
half-hour shows of
what's it called? The topic again?
entertainment news, and
Okay.
it said Access Hollywood and
Yeah.
E-Talk or whatever.
I would say
So
the way that we consume it, it's been present in newspapers and on social media and these articles, but like, it all comes from the television shows, right?
I,
Like,
I guess so, but I think it is because, like, I mean, I will often flip to the arts and entertainment section of a paper newspaper if I'm looking at
yeah.
it,
yeah,
and or a website of a new like a CBC. I'll go through all their topics, and one of them is arts or whatever. It's entertainment news. So are we including that, or are we talking about like something like Entertainment Tonight, which is
I think that we are somewhat like I think all arts news can be included in the discussion, but I do think that like if you're looking at the whole pie, that what you're talking about is just a smaller sliver of a pie that's mostly dominated by TMZ and all this sites and TV shows. When I think of Entertainment Tonight and those types of shows, I think of three types of stories. Okay, so one are the PR stories with regards to building up either a film or actors or whatever. Like we're going to sit down with Brad Pitt and hear how George Clooney pranks him on the set of Ocean's 11. More after this, or whatever. And then they have some sort of interview with real softball questions, and really it's about promoting whatever that they're promoting. Then they have the sort of the scandal types storylines, and these are more common nowadays than they were
like, did you
back
guys know
then.
that Alec Baldwin is gay?
See, that's a what? That's a lie, right?
Well, I don't know. I think I
He's
saw it on.
married like 18 women.
Well, that's a
it
pretty good cover.
doesn't mean any. Yeah, they're beards.
No, but yeah, I was driving home your point. But if you look at the gossip rags at the like the pharmacy or whatever, they have some of them have quite outlandish claims about celebrities and their personal life.
Oh no, absolutely. And TMZ, while it tends to err towards facts, it's still real trash and muckraking. But those storylines on Entertainment Tonight, the ones I always remember, they were less like breaking news, and they were more like, so let's say Michael Jackson dies, and you can get that news anywhere on actual news sites everywhere. It's like Michael Jackson has died, but then it's like, Did Michael Jackson's doctor kill him? Here's overprescribed drugs. Here's an interview with an unrelated physician to discuss, like what the appropriate amount of medication that he should be taking is. And it's like some Joe Blow doctor that they're interviewing. So do you think that the doctor was overprescribing drugs to Michael? It just is, it's ridiculous, but it's like making addictive TV for people that eat up arts and entertainment. And I feel bad kind of shitting on them. We've talked about celebrity worship before on the show and celebrities in general, and these shows are entirely based around celebrities, and we all have little interest in that. But I feel bad kind of shitting on
Well, I mean,
other people's interests.
it's interesting in that it's called entertainment news and that it's, quote, news about the entertainment industry, but that also like it's almost like a double meaning, the term entertainment news. So it's news about the entertainment industry, and also it's news which is entertaining because it's not
Right.
really news. So like when I get to the arts and entertainment section of a newspaper or a news website, it's usually when my brain is tired of reading about politics or world events, and I feel like, oh god, the state of affairs of things, and then I'll be like, oh, Star Wars behind the scenes. I'm like, okay, and I am entertained by that quote news. It's not really news; it's entertainment. So I just think the how much there is of this stuff just goes for the fact that we like to be entertained, and but it just seems a little bit like, what is it, like meta, like that you're getting entertained by news about entertainment. Like it just seems like, why not just consume the entertainment and be entertained? It's I mean, yeah, like you said, we've talked about celebrity before, and I have sort of little patience for, like, even when you're making that fake news story about like Oceans, whatever, this guy pranks that guy instead. I'm like, man, I could care less about the lives of celebrities.
Well, we've talked about award shows before, and there
Recently.
and with a lot of entertainment products, specifically film and like pop movies, pop television, popular music, there's sort of like there's interest in those actors, those agents within that field. Like they're, if we want to know, if we really love Justin Bieber, we like his music. I mean, then maybe we are curious about what's his story and what's he up to now and what's he saying on Twitter and who's he date. Like you might get a sense, you might just be interested in that information, or there might be something to, it's sort of like free promotion if you make news of a celebrity as though it were a brand. Like, it just, there's this whole thing built up around the hype machine that turns into ticket sales. Like, I feel like there's some real masters at how all of this works, how all this turns into revenue in the long run, and that the entertainment like news capsule, because there are celebrities who barely ever are on the in the news, right? Like there are people that are loved who don't seem to come up that much. Like Adele is never, she's a huge pop artist.
She's in entertainment news all the time, though.
Is she? Is she?
I
Though?
hardly
Yeah,
follow
she
it,
is.
and I saw
Really?
recently something like Adele saying blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Tom Hanks is a good example of that, though.
He's not even a good. You know who is Daniel Day-Lewis? That guy's never in the news.
Look, shut up with your Daniel Day-Lewis love.
Hey, he's a good actor.
Tom Hanks is a good example.
Oh my god.
Go,
Oh my
just to
God.
top on to what Bo says, I agree with that, and I agree with the when he mentioned Twitter and stuff. I recognize that nowadays we're able to get to news that we want a lot quicker. We can follow these personalities on Twitter. We can go on Reddit and see what the top most popular things are, and if they're related to things that we're interested in. In the olden days of the 80s and 90s, these shows sort of served as like hubs for people that were interested in entertainment. If you were interested in Justin Bieber, you would watch, or if he existed back then, which he didn't, you would watch Entertainment Tonight to get your latest Bieber fix. But now you can get that in a zillion places and you can control that. So really, there's less room for those TV shows anymore. If anything, they just serve as sort of catch-all aggregates so that like somebody who's just casually interested in it can be like, oh, nothing else is on, I'll watch Entertainment Tonight or Access Hollywood and get a sense of, what's going on in entertainment. Whereas if you're really into Justin Bieber, like you're following him on Twitter, you're going to the fan sites or you're doing all that stuff, you have much more relevant and better information than they're offering on those shows. That didn't used to always be the case.
I think also like one of the issues, like I don't know what the format of E-Talk or Access Hollywood is or whatever. I'm thinking of Entertainment Tonight, but the fact that they have a format of like a nightly news show. Someone's at a desk. There's that little like square with a graphic next to their head before they go into some report about something. So what's interesting about that is it the news or the in theory. I don't know how true this is these days, actually, but in theory, the news is supposed to be, important stuff that's happening in the world that you should know about, like wars and conflict and political happenings and things like that. That's news, right? So, whereas entertainment news is clearly marketing, but yet it uses this format that everyone's familiar with, where you go to learn about important things, but you go there to not learn about important things, but to learn about what some particular actor does. And this is, to me, all clearly tied into like a, part of a broader marketing, sort of Hollywood marketing machine that when you have name recognition or and care about actors, then you're more likely to go see movies that they're in. So its purpose is specifically different from other news. The stuff is not actually important. Like I think pretty objectively you can say entertainment news is not important. At best it's entertaining. But yet it weasels its way into actual news services, and most newspapers will have this. It's a distraction and it's entertaining. I'm not saying it shouldn't be there, but I think it kind of like hitches its credibility onto the news, which is credible by nature because it's about the stuff that's important in the world, and it's saying, hey. Entertainment's important too. Go and buy new movies and buy the new Bieber album.
Well, that's where it's like you have capital J journalism. You have people who are professional journalists who travel the world to bring you important news to keep the world informed about what's going on in this place.
Like John Tesh.
Like not just sorry. What they're doing is not like the point of the journalism is that they're not advertising anything, and there's nothing going on that is that has a ulterior motive behind it. Where to me the whole point of entertainment news is literally that it's advertising. I mean, effectively it's almost like a form of native advertising. Like the people reporting on entertainment news may not directly have a stake in the sales of the next Kanye West album or his new clothing line or whatever, but like they're like symbiotes, like, oh, I get to earn a living talking about people like Kanye West, and then Kanye West gets to be someone who's important enough to have people read and write about him, even though. Why are we reading and writing about him and not, reading and writing about the people, the heroes on the front line who are trying to cure cancer? I don't know who those celebrities are. No one gives,
see, just getting, getting into this comparative real news with entertainment news, I think is a little bit unfair because real news exists and you can read it if you want to. And they do profiles on all sorts of different people, and there are investigative journalists still out there. And the fact that entertainment news, the only way it threatens is that now, in particular with metrics, web metrics and stuff, you can look and you can say, hey, people are way more interested in reading about entertainment news than a lot of this. And I can honestly understand why. And Mike made the very good point, I think, about it being, kind of funny because it is entertaining. So, like, I don't care about a lot of this stuff, but it's very easy for me to either read or watch entertainment news. Like it's really like, whereas if I'm reading a boring article about financial markets, there's a good chance that I'm going to tune out and not want to, get to the end or whatever. Whereas if I'm watching entertainment news, I'm probably going to be like, it's easily digestible. There's danger in that, obviously, but at the same point, like I think there's no argument from one of the three of us that it's good news, but is it bad, so bad to have this sort of entertaining thing for the people that are interested in it?
Well, I'd say that's probably the advantage of the like dedicated entertainment news, format like Access Hollywood or Entertainment Tonight, and that you know what you're getting. It's not like it's a segment of the news. It's all about that. So if you're going to watch it, probably it's type you're interested in that type of stuff. You've already been sucked into the Hollywood machine. You care what celebrities say and do, and you want more of it, and that's a good place to go get it. And if you're cynical bastard like me, you'll be like, I don't want to waste my time with that. I'll go read something depressing of real news instead. So you know what you're getting into. But I do feel like, because when I have limited mental energy and it is on a real news site, like, and I'm running out of juice for reading about, again, world events or politics or whatever, I'll click on that invariably to be like, now for the lighter side, and that's usually where I'll end by news reading. Is so yeah. Again, is it bad? I don't know, but I think its value. It's
The
actual
argument for it
value.
being bad, I think, would be to say like, look, this is attracting people's attention more and more. The information shows that this is what people are interested in, and therefore newsrooms budgets or journalism budgets will be allocated based on what brings the clicks instead, or what brings the Nielsen ratings or the views, as opposed to what is what is valuable to society.
But
So
that's
you
certainly, yeah, that's certainly a dangerous thing.
well,
That
so
if
yeah,
you see news on people's interest is the wrong way to do news.
I know, but I think that in many cases, so like you're not going to see somebody like Mary Hart or Nancy O'Dell or John Tesh be laid off, but meanwhile you might see a veteran news person be laid off. I'm not saying that they're in the same work environment or whatever, but I am saying that in many cases, like entertainment news is going to be the last to be cut because it brings the views, and so that's I guess I'm saying that's a danger of it.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
it
it's
is, and
not
it's.
innocuous.
I mean, yeah, you're right, and it's self fulfilling because it also acts as its own marketing machine. Like so, it has this specific industry that it's tied to. So it's last to go because people like entertainment, so people watch movies, so they crave entertainment news. Blah blah blah. It goes on. It's never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be present. But like it just being lumped in with real news just sort of like gives it. I still think it has this air of credibility that it doesn't quite deserve, and maybe I'm giving it more credit than it actually has, and it's really probably just seen as fluff to most people. That it's just like, yeah, entertainment news. I
But
got
what
nothing to
if
do for half an hour.
okay, so what if a celebrity like somebody like when Michael Jackson died, is what sort of subheading does that fall under if it's not entertainment news? Like it's news, it's clearly news. He's a world famous international celebrity with tremendous impact on the musical scene. So he dies, that's news, it's entertainment news, right? It's just
There is a crossover.
right. But there are big stories in the entertainment field that should be reported. It's just that it's grown to this ridiculous size because using the example from earlier, it's like instead of just having a story about Michael Jackson's death and all this, um, there's these multiple fluff pieces surrounding it. How can we milk as much juice out of this story as possible because it's an entertainment story? If it was a regular news story, villages bombed, people are dead, there's probably not going to be much follow up in the way of fluff pieces to that. Whereas
But
to an
again, it's
entertainment,
it's still like cyclical, like because you're like, Why is Michael Jackson dying in a news story? Because he's famous. Why is he famous? Because of the marketing machine behind the entertainment industry. Fair enough, people want to consume that stuff. But you might also get an article in the news of like, I don't know, a prominent politician dies or a former president, and that's a news story because that person is well known in the world because of whatever they did that affected and impacted people's lives. And of course, music, is important to people, but it's really again tied to this industry. It's not like world events are not an industry. They're
But
just things that happen.
arts and culture will always be, there'll always be a prominent singer, despite what marketing or whatever. There's always going to be prominent actors, singers, whatever. You're right that Michael Jackson was surely elevated by these shows, but I'm just saying that like there is at one point there is real news that would be fall under the entertainment bracket. It's just sort of like a behemoth that's now out of control, I think. So yeah, anyway, I think I'm ready for verdicts if you guys are. I'm not sure if you got more on
No, I can
entertainment.
talk about this for hours.
Okay, well, let's keep going.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay. So like, I think we're rounding down into verdicts. I think the one thing that I wanted to just say on the subject was that news is news regardless of what industry it is or thing that you are into. I think Crofton makes a good point where it's like, yes, this is, Michael Jackson passing away or somebody of prominence having a baby or something maybe is significant. We all want to hear about Bradgelina or whatever
See, I'm like,
Lopez
no,
mania.
that's not news.
But
You took my thing and then you went to a bunch of junk
no, no.
news.
Well, what I'm saying is that there is a line somewhere where, like, look, I play a lot of the Heroes of the Storm. So I go to a site called Heroes Nexus and get all my Heroes of the Storm news there. For example, it's like entertainment. It's not a niche market, but it is a niche interest that sells, I think, a sort of lifestyle and interest, to a certain audience. Like it caters to them, but I think where it goes awry is that it feels like it's just it's like it's almost a form of voyeurism, where it's just like you are like they're having a baby and now they're having breast implants and now they're getting their penises enlarged and now they lost all their luggage in somewhere. Like there's this real sense that entertainment news is vapid and just a bunch of crap to a lot of people, and yet it's still so immensely popular that there has to be people out there who like this stuff. Like, because I feel like everyone I talk to is like, I hate this stuff. If everybody hates it, or if everybody likes it, or
people don't admit it, we
right.
all look at it to some degree. We're just not admitting it as much as like Mike's being pretty straightforward about it. I look at, like, I have an entertainment sites that I'll go to check out general entertainment news from time to time. So on my rotation,
I don't know if it's a problem with me, but like I always look at that stuff. I'm like, oh, it's crap. I can't believe I'm wasting eyeball space on this. Like, I think if it wasn't created, I wouldn't.
The next Netflix shows that are coming out, or like you're following some sort of entertainment news. It's just different than the celebrity news. You're following, like, you're looking for the stuff that interests you about movies or whatever, like Star Wars stuff or whatever. I don't know.
People are enthusiasts about whatever they're enthusiastic about, and it's good that they can go for and get that information about those topics through forms of entertainment news. Again, I guess the only issue for me is its linkages to actual news. Because if you think, like, when Bo was talking about, like, oh, people care about this stuff or people like this stuff, fair enough. But when you think about something that's actual news, like, liking it is irrelevant. Like, so it's like, oh, Syrian refugee crisis, 30 more people die in the Mediterranean. It's not like I'm like, sweet, give me more. I like this stuff. It's neither liked nor disliked, and it's like, or Obama announces gun control in the States. Republicans and NRA come out and be like, I don't like or dislike it. It's just news. It's nothing. It's you react to it because it's something that happened. But entertainment news is just clearly contrived and based around people's niche likes or whatever, but it rises to such prominence That's my issue with it. Yeah. Anyways, as you said, verdicts, right? Farm animals soon, I guess.
All right. It's out of context. That sounds so weird.
Does it? Not to anyone who's listening.
For
Anyways,
first
farm
time
animals.
listeners,
All right.
there are farm animals.
They're the jury of our views.
Order, I say. Order in the court.
All right. So bringing in the farm animals and the grumpy old men that yell things means it's verdict time.
Okay, Grumpy, I'll go first.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Mike goes first.
Yeah, entertainment news is clearly bullshit. Moo!
Wow.
I was waiting for the cow.
Well, you said it so fast.
Yeah, well, I felt it and thought it so fast. So this is one of these ones that when you see the topic, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. And then talking about it, I'm like, clearly bullshit. Not, it's innocuous in a way. It's not bad. Is it bad? The people are no. Who cares? It's inert and useless. People like it. Whatever. Good enough. Is it a good thing? No. Like it's not good. Would the world be a better place if there was or wasn't entertainment news? I don't know. It might be a better place if there was not entertainment news. I don't know that entertainment news is making the world a better place. It's just what it is. It's a bullshit thing. Whatever. If you like it, enjoy it. Moo to that. That's my verdict.
That's one of my favorite all-time Mike verdicts.
I've had some good verdicts, Crofton. You should review.
I'll go next because I just want to I want to add on to that, but at the same time, I'm stuck. Mike's right. There's no good in this really. I was stuck between bad and bullshit, and the reason I was heading towards bad was what I was saying earlier about it drawing attention, money, efforts away from more valuable sources of news. And I was pretty decided in that bad. I was like, you know what, it has an overall negative influence on things. But then Bo said something that made me think twice about it, which was the Heroes of the Storm going to his choice entertainment is video games, and in particular this particular video game. For me, I really like video games as well, and I have a website that I go to full of entertainment news on video games and often other sort of geeky related things. And I go to it all the time. I choose to go there. Now it's not if they had a television equivalent of it, and for a while I was watching this Canadian made show, I don't think it airs anymore, that was somewhat like that, I would watch it, and I would choose to watch it happily. So and it's difficult for me to begrudge that to other people who enjoy watching these sort of like celebrity love fests. But Mike is absolutely right when he goes on and says, what's the worth? What's the value added? There are some real arts and culture stories out there. Entertainment news. There is real entertainment news, but 95% of entertainment news is bullshit, and therefore my verdict is 100% bullshit.
Yeah, your verdict is bullshit. I mean, it is. You said bullshit.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but it kind of sounded like you were saying that it was bullshit.
What? Entertainment news?
Well, no, but you know how you can say, we say on the show, my verdict is bullshit. But you could also just be saying, no, the verdict I gave is bullshit.
Honestly, a verdict on entertainment news? Pretty bullshit.
Pretty bullshit. Well, guess what, guys? Nothing is more I have complicated feelings about this because I brought up my own that point earlier about how, I will go to, an entertainment site about a video game and be like, oh, I like this. It's entertainment news.
Yeah, you
though.
like entertainment.
It's got to qualify. But let me tell you, whenever E-Talk is on with Brian Mulrooney's kid, or Entertainment Tonight, or
I forgot that guy existed.
Yeah,
man.
whatever. Ben Mulrooney, I think his name is.
Yeah. Our Prime Minister, for those listening, our former Prime Minister's son hosts one of these shows.
Yes.
I like how another former prime minister's son is the actual prime minister now. You can see which one did better.
Hey, that's relative, man. You can't actually being prime minister is not necessarily better if your dream.
And Ben Mulrooney's young. He could make it one day.
If your dream was to do entertainment news, then he's a victor too. Okay, but I think that exactly points out how I feel is that all these like TMZ, I feel like I hate humanity when I see these things, and yet I'm compelled to watch. But I hate them. I hate them so much. I can't say they're bad because it's not like they're really hurting people. It's advertising. I think it's stupid for people to watch. I think, especially on some of those shows where they put on fake accents. Oh, did you see what happens on when the Queen walked down the carpet? Check out all the great like just the way that they present themselves is just antithetical, or just maybe that's the wrong word. I just hate it. So I'm gonna say that they're a blight on humanity. They're like, if you have like a pretty face, they're like the disgusting, I don't know, hidden area on your body that you cover up because you don't want to show people, except it's exposed all the time. I'm making no sense. I'm just going to say they're bullshit.
A bit too personal crop in there.
Yeah. Well,
no, I think
you're like
what he described, they're hiding all the time.
It's just, I really find it very irritating. Like I think I consume a lot of content that isn't as obnoxious as a lot of entertainment news, and I really hate that obnoxiousness that comes.
Well, the good thing is you don't have to watch it.
Well, no.
You know what you should do? You should treat entertainment news the same way you personally treat actual news, which is don't read it or look at it. That was a slam on Bo for not being aware of what's going on in the world.
I'm somewhat aware of what's going on in the world.
If it's mentioned on a Heroes of the Storm site, I might become aware of something that's happened.
It's funny because just mentioning, like, I had made that linkage between Brian Mulrooney's son and Pierre Trudeau's son, two former prime ministers, and where their sons are at. But it's funny because this is how incestuous Canadian politics is. So Ben Mulrooney's wife, Jessica Mulrooney, is a Canadian fashion stylist. In November 2015, she styled ensembles for Sophie Gregoire Trudeau, the wife of the incoming Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. So they're all bosom buddies. They all get along.
I'm sure there's a club, like a Prime Minister's Kids Club. Like
I wish I was in that club.
President's Kids Club. Like only other kids of presidents and prime ministers can relate to you. So you're all hang out in the same rich place or something. I don't know.
It's true. I can relate to Crofton because when Justin Trudeau became prime minister, I called my dad and said, that could be me if only you had been prime minister. And then he agreed that was true. But, yeah. He has to live with his own life choices.
I will say this. I think you would make a great-looking politician.
Thank you.
Like you would,
I used to work with a guy who thought I looked like Justin Trudeau.
I know, and I think you would be considered a handsome politician.
Thank you, Bo. That's what being a politician is all about. I think
no one would trust me as a politician because I look like a criminal, and I think, Crofton. I don't know.
Crofton'd be an okay politician.
Yeah, he'd be an okay politician.
He'd be the most politician of us all because I've played board games with him, and he has that kind of like tries to become your friend, but then does the thing behind your back that screws you over, and that's like what politicians are all about.
I even shake on it.
Babies and then making bad policies.
He'd be the Rod Blagojevich of politics. Well, maybe not. He's an actual criminal. That's more my style.
People say I look like Blago.
No, you're the Richard Nixon. You'd be like Richard Nixon.
I am not a crook.
I like how
I'm not a crook, but I will resign the presidency for my obvious crookedness.
All right. Well, there we have it. Our first episode of 2016.
Well, on the bright side, it's all uphill from here. Or downhill. Wait, how does that work?
It all depends on our topics, and if you have a good topic for us and want to share it, you can email us at goodbadbull@gmail.com. You can go to goodbadbull.com. That's our website. We got all our episodes up there. I was perusing it the other day. There's a section called The Vault on it. It's got like every single episode was pretty funny. I went back to some of the old stuff to see how bad I was. Turns out I'm always good. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Good Bad Bull. Facebook, we got a page there, Good Bad Bull. Just click the like button, and then you will get notified whenever we have a new episode. And Bo always does a super neat photo that always makes me chuckle. You'll get to see that. Speaking of being notified, if you follow us on iTunes or Stitcher, you will be able to get all the new episodes straight to your phone, and then you can give us 5-star reviews, which is, I know, what you want to do. And yeah, you can also, we're all individuals of an individual nature. If you want to follow us individually, you can do so. Michael, The Rock, where can people follow you?
They can follow me on Twitter at ML Hodgins, but really, there's no point really.
He's a
trademark Hodgins enthusiasm.
And Bo Macho Man Schwartz, where can people follow you?
You can find me on the Twitter at Bo Schwartz. Now keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You can also follow me on the Twitter at Crofton Steers. So pretty much you just use our names and you'll find us on Twitter. Good luck spelling mine. All right. So that's a wrap. My New Year's resolution was not to fuck up outroing the show.
Oh, you just swore. That you put a blemish on the show.
Oh, God damn it.
F-bomb.
So
now I have to pay a fine to the CRTC.
Also, you said your name was hard to spell, but your name's quite phonetic.
Is it?
Yeah.
How come nobody can spell it properly?
Well, I don't know, but if someone were to say to me and articulate, how do you spell Crofton? I feel like it's
Krawton.
10.
I thought we figured out why it gets misspelled. It's because of autocorrect that changes it.
It'd be like CRAUPHT. Why would you spell it like that?
I've seen it. People start it with a K all the time. I don't know why.
I understand.
Probably because they're Canadian and they're used to craft dinner, and so Croft sounds close to craft.
Yeah, trust me. Elementary school taught me that.
But
I
you know, as an adult, like with names like Mycroft out there, like it's got to be a C. I feel like with common sense,
Laura Croft has helped me significantly as well in terms of people. Because the Croft, people know how to spell Croft now.
Lara Croft.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bo. Isn't
it Lara Croft?
Bo's name isn't spelled how it sort of sounds.
B-O?
Yeah, you'd think B-O because of from Bo and Luke Dukes of Hazards. He was B-O.
Oh, that's right.
Bo.
Yeah. Or Donatello's bow in Ninja
staff.
Turtles.
Yeah, a bow staff.
Exactly. And Schwartz, it's kind of like there's an extra letter in for the sh sound, you know?
I think everybody knows how to spell Schwartz, though, because it's so
I don't know. Initially, I'm always like...
People drop the C sometimes. And
yeah, see,
people
that's phonetic.
Drop
you drop
the
the C.
Because Schwarz without a T is also a name. So
I'm sure at this point, all our listeners are just on pins and needles. They're like,
who has the most misspelled name?
How do you actually spell Crofton's name? They're all assuming that we know how to spell it. And
yours is exactly how it sounds.
Yeah, it's exactly how it sounds.
How do you spell
I believe Crofton in this regard. People are really bad at not non-traditional names.
Also, you know what they do is and there's science behind this. Science I'm too dumb to understand. But when
not all science.
When people hear a word, and they don't know that word, they will just very often their brain will just replace it with a word that they do know. So I'll say, you know, they'll say, "What's your name?" And I'll say, "My name is Crofton," and they'll be like, "Carlton?" And I'm like, "I don't even know how you got there. Like, I just said it perfectly to you." But people will be like, "My brain doesn't recognize this word, so I will replace it with a word that I do recognize that is somewhat close."
Because they feel like they must have misheard you.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is.
That's definitely true, because my last name, which is Hodgins and is a little bit weird to spell, almost always when I'm introduced, someone has to write it, they put a K in. And I was like,
Hopkins?
Where is it? I'm like,
Hodgkins?
Hodgins? I'm like, Hodgins. And they're like, Hodgkins. And I'm like, no, I didn't. There's no k in the sound I made. Why
Yeah.
is there a k? Because
No,
it's
there's
more
no
common
sound.
last name.
Yeah, they know it, so that they just
Yeah.
replace it. But there is some sort of science that I'm too dumb to really articulate.
Yeah, we
That
already went through this. All science.
Oh, all science, right? Yes.
You were busy talking, and he kept making cracks about it. It's all science.
All science. Every form of science.
This new year
All
has
the
started as the last one ended with me getting picked on by these two douchebags.
Oh
I'd
wait,
say
I'm not picking on
lovingly
you.
ribbed.
I'm just observing.
Just
I'm just
and laughing and pointing.
That's part. Observing is reacting is part of observing. No, it isn't. I'm bad
So
at
Yes,
science
it is.
too.
It's the Heisenberg effect. You can't observe something without affecting it.
Oh,
It's like a proven thing in physics. Sorry, Crofton, you're
Wait,
wrong.
is that the Heisenberg
Science
effect?
once again has proved you wrong.
Isn't
You
that
shouldn't have used that word, the Heisenberg effect, because now look what you did to Bo.
Isn't that Schrodinger?
Oh, maybe Schrodinger's cat.
Right,
Yeah.
which is the
I thought it was like Heisen. There's also like, anyways, whatever. Apparently, we're all too dumb to
there
understand
might
science.
be. I know in Star Trek I think there were Heisenberg converters or like something to do. There's a piece of technology for the transporter that was a Heisenberg conductor or something, which is really funny because I think of Walter White from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's where
code
I
name
was
is Heisenberg.
I was wondering how long it was going to take him to get there. It took him way longer than I thought, but
Well,
What I read
yeah.
about the Schrodinger's and his famous cat in a box
The
sort of.
Schrodinger's cat is the one that
I'm assuming this episode's well over.
Oh Lord, it must be done by now.
I like how you're like, I haven't made it yet. I can end it anywhere. Maybe it's not over.
No, it's over.
Would anyone have sat through that last
I
bit?
can't imagine as I don't know anyone. I wonder if anyone's gonna sit through this episode, man. It was pretty rough.
Well, I mean, it is entertainment news. That
Were we rusty?
No, but I think we're all a little tired. We all
well,
expressed being tired.
and that topic does not inspire. I don't know me,
Well,
anyways.
if you're watching the VOD, thanks for tuning in. We're gonna put a nightcap or not nightcap. We're gonna put a bow on it. Not a BEAU bow and not a BO bow, but a BOW bow for all
God,
you
English is a pain in the ass.
spell-challenged individuals out there. Not to be discriminatory, just not everyone is good with the spelling. So, thanks for watching.
It is funny talking to babies about like trying to, because when you're teaching,